Since February 2018, the crack team consisting of an old hipster, a rookie, and Tyrod Taylor's biggest fan record from a secret location in the heart of Scotland. Their aim is to try and dissect all things NFL. If you want their opinion, and if you can find them, this is the American Fitbaw Cast.
Hello and welcome to the American Fitbaw Cast. You're hearing us for the first time in a little while. We had a bit of time off over Christmas. And the guys are back and really enthusiastic. Yes! Gav,
scheduling
Steve,
issues.
how are you?
It's extra bye weeks. We were like, why not? It's coming up to Christmas. We need to go and junk food instead.
That's what it was.
In the most exciting part of the season. So we
disaster.
did that well.
It all kicked off and it was rather amusing and it was a great end to the regular season.
Yeah. Well, good. Good Christmas, New Year, everyone. Yeah.
Mental. I'm glad I'm back. Not at work, not in a meeting room.
Secret location.
Back at the secret location, yes.
God damn it, Steve.
For much needed respite.
You're a liability.
I'm going to adjust.
You know, it's funny, like, you probably are the most sensible out of the group, but yet every time something ridiculous has happened in this podcast, it's been
me. What's my nickname upstairs again? No, we're not going to mention that.
No, we don't know. No, I'm not going
Just
there.
think Alabama and white hats. That's all totally not what I am like, but interesting what somebody called me upstairs once and I was just like, what? Anyway, moving swiftly on.
Yeah.
Top that one.
Right, so at the start of the regular season we ran a competition and set up an NFL Challenge League, so that is now finished, and the winner of that was Andrew, but not me. And his Homely Heroes. So Andrew, get in touch with us and we will sort your prize out. You get us at the FCast on Twitter or on Facebook.
Well done.
Well done.
Awesome.
Yeah. I finished second.
Was he not in the lead for pretty much the entire season?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think maybe not right in the first 2 weeks only, but once he got a grip of first place, he just did not give it up.
Was he the only person that cared?
Harsh.
I finished second, about 500 points behind, which is about
well done, mate.
About 5 games worth.
Good job. That's
160 odd points a week is the sort of average you need to be pulling in, and that's hard to do.
So it was conclusive.
Consistent level, yeah.
So congratulations and get in touch with us and we'll sort your prize out. Right, so what happened when we were gorging on food? So the regular season finished.
Rather spectacularly.
A lot of head coaches got fired.
Oh, didn't they just?
The playoffs started.
I'd say more head coaches than what I thought was going to get canned.
25% turnover.
That's a lot. There was about 6. It was a good 6 or 7 last year as well. So a lot of teams are going to be in a very new coaching cycles.
quick fire. Who do you think didn't deserve to go?
Right, so
just
let's go 8 teams that fired their head coaches. So you had the Packers, Cardinals, and the Bucks in the NFC. And in the AFC, we had
Bengals, Jets, Dolphins, Broncos, and
the Browns.
Do you know what? There's not actually really anybody that I can look at and I think was unfair.
I'm going to say Adam Gase.
Do you think that was unfair?
I think it was his character rather than his. Think of how depleted that team was.
But that's because he came in and he did that whole culture change. Basically, anyone who was a good player, therefore, had a bit of attitude about them. Slung. They were gone.
So, I guess my thinking.
Who's the boy that got bullied? I keep forgetting his name. Because it's like because he came out and publicly said, "Oh, I'm getting bullied. I don't like this," and then they were like, "Oh, there's a big culture change," and and people start getting jettisoned left, right, and centre. But this boy, I can't remember his name. I don't think he's on the team anymore. It's like he cost himself his own career for coming out and saying the locker room was toxic.
The Dolphins were.
I can't even remember.
Did they finish 7-9? I think it was. Bear in mind that was...
But they got off to a 3-0 start, and I think that's part of the reason why, in retrospect, I can see why they moved on. Because it's been purgatory. It's been sort of 7 and 9, 8 and 8 seasons for the last few years. They've not really been challenging in their division.
So,
and they've not really been challenging for a wildcard place.
They had one playoff run, now 3 seasons
they could
ago.
still make the playoffs up until week 15.
Yeah, it was still quite late on.
This is this whole thing I'm saying though, isn't it? I know it's my perception, and we have this interesting argument all the time, but I think the AFC is a weaker class than the NFC by a country mile. Therefore, a lot of weaker teams have a chance to be in it for longer.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But I don't know. I know you're going with that though. But I don't think it was that harsh. I mean, coaching cycles are far shorter now than they ever were at any point. And the fact that Wilkes was a one and done was...
Yeah, so that was my other one, is that maybe a little bit harsh to only get 1 year.
Well, I think it's only happened twice now.
Yeah, it's either the second or third. He might have been the third.
Was he third?
It's one and
done.
done.
Boy, just a couple of seasons ago was one and done. I can't even remember. It's terrible.
There's so many.
I'm so old.
So Wilkes,
the Cardinals were pretty bad though.
Dire, like horrendous.
Yeah, so it wasn't so much
and they cleaned house as well. So coordinators are gone and everything.
Brian Leftwich went off to join Atlanta.
No, he
went to join. So he is now. Yes,
he's Bucks with Bruce Arians.
The pass game coordinator for Bruce Arians at the Bucks. Now, Leftwich at Arizona was Arians' protege.
Yes.
So it makes total sense that Cards have said see you later, and he's gone straight to Arians. So, we're on the subject of Arians. There's 3 confirmed head coaches come in. So Arians at the Bucks, I think that is a slam dunk of an appointment.
Oh, I know. I think the Browns have missed out not getting him, because he did say before he even came out and said Jason Licht, if Jason Licht give me a call, I'll maybe entertain the idea. But before that, like the last couple of weeks of the season, he was out saying, "Oh, do you know what? If the Browns give me a shout, maybe I'll come back."
Yeah.
He was pretty public about that, and he did interview.
It was
with them.
I don't know if he did.
I don't know.
He was definitely.
Did he?
Flirting with them anyway.
Yeah, and then it sort of slowly changed to say, "Oh yeah, but if the Bucks come and give me a shout, I'm definitely going to go and give them a visit as well." And they basically just didn't let him leave. I think after
4-year deal, 5th year option. He either really hated retirement or hated Arizona.
Probably both.
Both, yeah.
Definitely a balance of both.
He was always touted to be retired though because of health.
It was health.
So that's interesting. So I wonder if it's just having that time out and that resetting of everything.
Recharge
his body.
His wife will be furious. Have you ever watched His Football Life?
Yeah, and you see it in
Hard Knocks.
No,
All or Nothing.
All or Nothing.
Yeah, the fact that these guys are like in the building at 6 a.m. They don't get home till like 11, 12 at night. For the entire 5 months of the season, as full pelt. Probably training camp is mostly full pelt as well.
The best thing about Bruce Arians coming back is the caps that he wears.
Nobody else. It's kind of a beanie thing going on.
Nobody else wears that.
Flat caps.
That's the best thing.
But no, it's a great move.
Slam dunking of an appointment there. The Packers have gone with Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, which I thought was a little bit left field.
Definitely left field.
It wasn't really
worst. So offensive coordinator at the Titans this season, 7th worst.
7th worst
offense in the league, and he gets a head coaching job out of it.
But only a first-year coordinator as well.
That's correct.
Because he was a quarterbacks coach prior to that.
Yep.
Because Gav, you pointed out quite rightly in the divisional roundups before the season started about how that's why you were so high on Tennessee doing well. So I think you were the same as me, Andrew. You didn't have Tennessee doing that great at all. I'm pretty sure I had them bottom of that division and having a nightmare and Vrabel getting off to a bad start. But
I had them winning the division at the start when we done our predictions.
Matt LaFleur, the Jags, so you got that bit right.
Matt LaFleur. So he didn't have a great first season as offensive coordinator. I think there's a couple of things you can look at. Marcus Mariota always being injured doesn't help.
Yeah,
having your offensive line, which is good, injured doesn't help.
Conklin
was out for a bit.
Yeah.
Tyler
Lewan,
yeah. I can't remember it.
They were injured for good chunks of the season.
So missing, and they're both potential Pro Bowlers.
Yeah, so at that level,
and having no wide receivers, which he can't really control. He can't control who's.
Yeah. tried to make some good at Corey Davis. Corey Davis
is a better.
He flits. Yeah, he does like a couple of good games and he disappears for like 5 weeks.
Yeah. But to go back to Lafleur, so Lafleur, they're now calling it the McVay tree. This is the start of the Sean McVay tree because he was Sean McVay's quarterback coach at Washington. He's quarterback coach at LA, and that's how he's in at the Titans.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So it's a huge job for him.
Massive.
I think you see that, like McVay, he picks up a DC that's super experienced as being a head coach.
Yep.
They might keep Mike Pettine, I think that's how you pronounce his name, who's a current DC, who's a former Browns head coach, but
Jets.
maybe,
I think going back about 7-8 years-ish window.
I don't know.
He's definitely been defensive coordinator for the Jets for a chunk as well.
What I would worry about if him and Rodgers don't have the right chemistry, Rodgers wins that battle because that guy's got no experience and he could very easily be a one and done.
Is that a problem in Green Bay? Is there almost too much power in Rodgers' hands? Because we saw some of the fallout at the very end of McCarthy. It was very much him, the two of them just not being on the same team, same.
You want to know? You could be really smart.
Same team. Of course, they're on the same fucking team. Not anymore. They're not. But anyway,
you could be really smart. You could use him almost as almost him as your offensive coordinator.
Yes, like what Peyton Manning did in the end of his career. You compliment him because his brain is so engaged in what's going on. You can let him just go with the flow, and he will change plays, happy as Larry, and do what he does best, which is his improvisational type of quarterbacking.
Yeah, I think that's what you see there. It's a huge gamble, but the one
they have to load up on wideys and offensive line though to make that work. Otherwise, because basically Green Bay are all in on Rodgers and getting him to bring a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So you've got to give him as many tools as possible, and they're very much depleted. I don't know if Randall Cobb's going to make it back again. He had a really bad season. Yeah. He's probably salary cap problem. Devontae Adams is fine. They seem to have kind of sorted out the backfield a little bit. Jones seems to have kind of locked that in, which is better than they've had in a long while.
Yeah, they need to beef up the defensive line
a bit so that Rodgers doesn't get beat up.
Yep, and sort out their leaky D. But yeah, I think it's definitely a left field pick, and the only thing I think that's in his favour is that Green Bay doesn't seem to be. They seem to give people time, and that goes all the way throughout the organisation.
Left field Lafleur.
Left field Lafleur.
And from so he's a left field pick. The other confirmed head coaching position is even further left field, I would suggest.
Wow, I'm going to be brutally honest, I didn't even know this boy existed until about a month ago, so
no, nothing about him.
Likewise. So Cliff Kingsbury has been confirmed as the head coach.
Sounds like a made up bad guy.
Twizzling his moustache.
So he's head coach of the Cardinals. Offensive genius is what people have described.
Where did he come from?
So he was
this is what you were telling me
Texas
yesterday about
Tech for 6 years as their head coach. In November he was fired. Exactly.
I'm not getting this.
He went to USC as their offensive coordinator at the start of December. He had a $150,000 buyout clause in that contract, so it was quite easy to get him out of that. So he's now been picked as head coach in Arizona.
USC officially refused all interviews for him, didn't they?
They did initially.
They'd only been in that, that's
8th
a month.
of December.
8th of December, and it was 8th of. It was yesterday.
So 8th of January. So literally
one
a month
calendar
after.
month. Yeah. USC had him for one calendar month.
So he's the master. Wait. So I'm just looking this up just now.
She was a 35-40 record as head coach at Texas Tech. So a losing record overall.
You haven't been researching this, have you?
As the panic set in yesterday, who's this guy? Getting through all the stuff going, oh my god! For another bad season.
So I read a couple of articles about various different things.
So he's the guy that developed Pat Mahomes.
He had Baker Mayfield for his first year. Case Keenum and...
Did he have Keenum?
As
would he have been under his
potentially as offensive coordinator. In his previous, he had Johnny Manziel when he was an offensive coordinator as well, and
You can argue as bad as Johnny Manziel
Davis
was.
Webb?
He was awful in the NFL, but he was exceptional.
Awesome in college.
He took him to Heisman Trophy winning numbers.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
The only so Mahomes, Mayfield,
Case Keenum,
and
Johnny
Manziel.
And Davis Webb.
Oh.
So
I guess
the
the
Giants.
Couldn't tell.
Yeah, he did. You're right. The only thing that's sticking out to me there then is Josh Rosen is the opposite of all those quarterbacks. Really, he's a pocket passer, and they're all
mobile scrambling. Yeah,
so that'll be an interesting development to see how he works.
Yeah, so his reputation is that he gets the best out of the quarterbacks that he has, but if they're all a similar type, then it could just be that his scheme fits that type of quarterback, and he's been lucky with who he's had through college.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm hopeful that he will be paired with, much like LaFleur needs to be in Green Bay, he'll be paired with an experienced defensive coordinator who's got experience as a head coach, who'll be able to guide him through.
Hopefully, lets David Johnson do David Johnson things.
Yeah,
that's
David Johnson.
You've got to fix that O-line.
The O-line has to be the priority in the draft.
Yeah.
Especially if Rosen isn't going to be able to run about much, you need to give him time. So
and you'll have the potential massive gap of Larry Fitz, which
yes.
do you think he's enough now, or do you think he might come back for another?
Wouldn't it be?
He literally gives nothing away.
No.
So
you just choose. He can't. He's at that point. He's that legendary. He can just, if he decides in July, sorry, I'll come back for another year. He'll just rock up and he's straight.
Yeah, he will.
Wouldn't it be awesome if he went to Tampa?
for last year. Oh,
he won't.
Oh, he's
you get nervous there. I can see that.
But yeah,
he has always said if he comes back to play, he comes back to Arizona for another year. He isn't going elsewhere.
Love the idea though; it's hilarious.
Yeah. And I wouldn't begrudge him a year at a Super Bowl contender, not Tampa, because they're not going to be a Super Bowl contender next year.
Are they not?
I'm not Imperious because no one likes him. But I know what you mean. But, you give him a chance.
He's a legend.
Tony Gonzalez, who's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Was he last year? Was he inducted last year, or is he going to be inducted this year? No, last year. He was inducted last year. Yeah. So he had a legendary career at Kansas City, and for the last sort of 3 or 4 years, he moved on to Atlanta, who were at the time were very much geared towards that.
Win now.
Now, Matt Ryan's going to take them all the way, and I think it was the year after that they got to the Super Bowl that he retired. But or maybe 2 years after. But it was the right idea, and no one begrudged them that at all. Everyone was like, "Yeah, you've done so well, doing what you do best. Absolutely, go and try and win yourself a ring. You're going to hit the Hall of Fame regardless, but just go and cement it by getting that Super Bowl win."
Yeah,
it never did, but.
So Atlanta, just quickly on them, whilst you mentioned them, they took Dirk Koetter as their offensive coordinator, which is fucking hilarious.
That was a little bit of a
Steve
surprise.
Sarkisian have quite a good end to the year, weren't the Falcons quite?
He did. Yeah,
they were in a lot of shootouts as well.
Had a rubbish. Last year wasn't very good.
Yeah,
and he was definitely better this year. But I don't think that anyone felt that with what he had, he was able to utilise them as well as
Tampa
he could
were
have.
also in a lot of shootouts though. So does that give credence to the fact that he can still do a job as an offensive coordinator?
Maybe, but it's still hilarious.
Right, so rumours for the coaching vacancies that haven't been filled. There's quite a distinct pattern here in that there are 3 vacancies in the NFC and they've all been filled. There's 5 vacancies in the AFC, they're all still open.
That's a good point, never even thought of that.
Cleveland Browns, looks like they're going to go with Freddie Kitchens.
I also seen last night that it's between Kitchens and Stefanski. The Vikings.
Stefanski's been brought back for a second interview.
The Vikings offensive coordinator.
The interim, but could be.
Which was weird because so he was brought in after the Vikings got rid of their OC, whose name I feel like I know nothing about the NFL right now.
Who are we talking about?
Who was the offensive coordinator? They can't.
Got punted. Filippo.
Oh yes,
yes,
so it was,
or something like that. Mike Filippo.
John DeFilippo.
John DeFilippo. Why Mike? I don't know why. We'll call him Mike.
So he came in, and then the Vikings, they didn't set the world on fire. They just started to use Dalvin Cook. That was all that really happened. And So I'm a bit surprised about that. I'm also really surprised that why they wouldn't just stick with Greg Williams.
It's weird that they gave Greg Williams the interim defensive coordinator. Kitchens stayed there. Yeah, so Williams, interim head coach from defensive coordinator. Kitchens was obviously already there. And
he was running back coach, was he?
So he was running back coach previously, was he? Because it was Todd Haley, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was
we're doing really bad remembering names today.
So Kitchens moved up into interim OC.
Yeah.
And so it's strange that they would pick him over Williams, but I don't know.
It depends if you want to be. So, right, the league is
it's
a copycat league, right? And when something works well, everyone just copies it.
So everyone's looking at the LA Rams and they're looking at
Sean McVay has set the new coaching standard. Of
so they want a young offensive
minded, and that's what a lot of teams are going to go for this year.
Yep.
You're going to get a couple of defensive orientated ones appearing in the next few weeks, but not many. Most of them are going to be offensively minded, I reckon.
I think that the Browns should just stick with Williams and keep Kitchens as.
I'm looking through his list of who else was linked to them, but I don't know who interviewed or not. So you had Jim Caldwell, Dan Campbell, Saints assistant head coach, and tight end
I remember he took over the Dolphins.
Yeah, Dolphins. I loved him when he was the head coach of the Dolphins.
So brilliant. I think what people said about him was that he was great at motivating people, but terrible scheming and terrible tactically.
Yes. Now that was maybe 3 seasons ago, so he may have learned something on that. But I think he. So I don't know if he got an interview, but I know he's definitely linked. Matt Eberflus, the Colts defensive coordinator.
Who are actually the Colts defense is actually really good.
Really good. Brian Flores, Patriots defensive coordinator.
I don't know anything about him.
Freddie Kitchens.
Mike McCarthy was linked at one point as well, was he not?
I don't think he actually.
I don't know when he got an interview.
Did he? Anyway, but yeah.
Mike Munchak. That's the one. Steelers offensive line coach was linked.
Was he? God, I missed that one.
And Nick Sirianni, the Colts offensive coordinator. There's a full list there, Steve, that you could have read off of.
I was trying to go through it, but they're not in a nice order. It's in
so I gave up.
Alphabetical by surname, so I'm just flipping winging it.
So the Browns, I'm thinking they should stick with Williams, but it looks like it's going to be Kitchens.
So your question, does Williams stay in the building? Probably not.
I'd be pissed if I was him.
Because you're kind of thinking, right, you were put in as interim head guy. You then have to sign off on Kitchens becoming your offensive coordinator for the remainder of the season.
And you've been snaked.
You do really well, and then all of a sudden he jumps over you, take your job. Yeah, so he just move and become a defensive coordinator somewhere else. I don't think he cares.
Imagine it wouldn't happen, but imagine if Greg Williams had the Texans defense. How amazing would that be? People would die. People would straight up die.
Where do you see him landing?
Loads of teams would.
He's not. Do you think he's a guy for a Green Bay?
Potentially, it's a good shout.
Or in Arizona, for that matter.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good shout.
So the experience next to these new young offensive head coaches.
Yeah, I think he's also definitely doesn't take any shit, so he gives you that balance overall. So I think that's probably a good shout.
Carolina, does he go and sort that defense out a little bit?
Well, there's rumours as well that the Redskins are chopping both their coordinators and keeping Gruden.
Okay.
I think Steve Wilkes ends up back in Carolina.
I think that's a good shout.
That's
where
he came from. That makes sense from the bounce back. He works well with Rivera. Actually, the defense was really, really good when he was in charge of it.
Yeah, he was.
He might be one of these people that's excellent as coordinator, just can't quite make the next step.
He was the Panthers cornerbacks coach that got Josh Norman to Josh Norman's level, then got the DC job. It makes sense. Those organisation. Yeah. So Browns, we've got Broncos, who've not really been spoken about.
Very quiet. So they're obviously my gut feeling on that is that they already know who they want to interview, but are not announcing it because it's one of the teams that are still therefore
playoff coordinator.
Because there's obviously for people that are newer to this, there's the rule whereby if you're in the playoffs, you cannot interview and sign for another team and all that malarkey.
The fact that it was so quiet suggests it's someone that was involved in wildcard weekend.
Well, yes, because the quirk on that is that the teams that are first and second have a bye. Their coordinators can go and interview in the bye week.
So it must be someone
like Eric Bieneminem.
So someone that has won on wildcard weekend, so that limits you down to
just
4
those 8 teams.
4. Because the ones that have
Loser,
lost,
yeah.
the ones that have lost, they'd be now free to interview, presumably.
Yeah, you would imagine.
Yeah,
so
we
you'd be
would
on there.
now. Oh yeah, because we're right enough. Sorry,
But it's interesting. There's no names even really linked with them. They're
No, it's
not.
very quiet. Elway's got a plan. He's just going to sit.
None
there
of his
and
plans
write
have
it
worked out well for anybody.
Yeah, you this back.
I'd like to present you with Brock Osweiler. I'd like to present you with Paxton Lynch.
Well,
Case Keenum there.
Kev's going to be delighted then. He's got a potential challenger for his division crown who isn't going to be anywhere near the hunt. So it'll be them and the Chiefs for the next 5 years.
I won. Yeah.
At the minute, it's going at.
There was something that Hammy said that was really spot on in the chat. Why nobody's looking at Gus Bradley?
Yes.
He'd be a good shape.
So from a team that we're not hearing any names to the team that I think have interviewed the most is the Jets, and they're all offensive mind.
Is Jim Caldwell an offensivers? I thought he was a defensive more.
Is
more offensive?
I don't know.
I'm not without going through
Yeah.
without going through the list. Is Jim Caldwell a Rooney Rule get out?
Isn't
This podcast
I-
is very
you know
sour
what?
No,
today.
I'm just being
this is why
genuine.
I'm skipping through the names as to who. So you've
Are
got,
the rest of them all white?
So you've got
they're
Chris
not.
Richard.
Right, okay.
He's definitely. I don't know who that guy is.
Hugh Jackson.
Hugh
Vance
Jackson.
Joseph.
That must be a Rooney Rule one. Surely to God.
isn't-
Brian Flores.
without-
Eric Bieneminem.
Bieneminem.
Yeah, I thought Bieneminem.
Bieneminem.
Oh, brilliant. Anyway, we've jumped sideways now.
Yeah, what were we on about again? The Jets.
Right, so Jets. So apparently, from what I'd read, Mike McCarthy was all but offered it, but was holding out for the Cleveland job, and is now nowhere near that. So he might come back into the frame there.
I think the Jets should go for McCarthy or Gase. That's my two picks for them.
Yeah.
Someone that can get the
I
best
don't
out
know.
of Sam Darnold.
I think
Bieneminem.
That's it. Bieneminem.
Bieneminem.
It's an 8 Mile remake. Let it fly out of Gasman. I've got a feeling he's going to get picked up by someone. I think he's done that well with the Kansas City offense. It's very difficult.
Andy Reid,
for
isn't
him
it?
not
It's Andy
to.
Reid tree.
It is. From was it Doug Peterson?
Yep.
Was under him, and
There's another one, but I can't remember.
Matt Nagy.
Matt Nagy, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be that'll be 4 different
Hot.
teams, next season that are coached by, effectively Andy Reid.
Which is awesome,
Oh,
because he's fun.
he just plays all offense and doesn't give a shit about defense.
Which
Who
is-
made a 54-51? Hell yeah, I'm going to play that game. I don't care.
So yeah, I think Jets will be McCarthy or Gase. That's my take. So you've got the Bengals then, who have been very quiet as well, considering.
Yeah.
I'm still. Do you know what? Where I am with the Bengals is exactly where I was at the beginning of the seasons, and I just don't care. I've got no love for them whatsoever at the minute. I don't. You know how I always have like sneaky picks of crap teams, and I kind of root for them the next year. So like 2 years ago it was the Jags and the Browns, and this year because the Jags hit the playoffs, I was like, right, let's give Jags a break. They've made it now. Let's just go for the Browns. And
Is it because Andy Dalton's just so meh?
Yes,
I
very
think it's
middle
just
of the
him.
road.
I think
But-
what's the hell's the coaching boy's name again? Mr. Boring.
Mark Lewis.
Yeah, that's it. Fredo. Aye.
Yeah, Fredo.
Mr. Boring, I just think of Bill Belichick.
Well, yeah, I suppose. I still find some of his stuff quite amusing. I love the fact that
He's very dry.
he hates media interviews to the point that he almost sneers through them and quips back with like really snarky comments.
Yeah, he's a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Bengals, they've got Vance Joseph, Hugh Jackson, are the names that stick out that they've interviewed. I'm guessing that
Stick out for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Though.
I'm guessing that they must be someone that's looking at someone that's still with a team right now.
Maybe Bill Lazor, which is the Bengals offensive coordinator, is in the mix.
They weren't good.
No, Todd Monken, the Buccaneers coordinator, is sort of loosely linked with as well. But also Zach Taylor, Rams quarterbacks coach.
Okay,
We
so
know
that's
nothing about, but again, that's the another
McVay.
part of this McVay tree that could be flying out and coming to the fore. So you could be a sneaky outsider.
What job
as
would you
well.
want? The 5 that are left, if you were a head coach, what would you pick? Have we covered all the teams? Is there anyone we missed? Dolphins.
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 Who cares?
So it doesn't look like they've interviewed a lot of people either. Actually,
Stephen Ross was the owner of the Dolphins. He absolutely Gruden was out there, he'd be dangling the $100 million check for him at the minute. He's kind of that mould. I want the big splashy name. Whether he's going to get it, I don't know. I don't even know anybody else.
I think they're a full rebuild job. I think you probably move on from Tannehill.
Yes, I would agree. He seems incapable of playing a full season for a start.
Yeah, that's the reason. I actually think he's an okay quarterback, but he's not healthy enough to get you.
He's not going to play 16 games.
Yeah, so that's why you move
and at
on.
that okay level, you're still only 1 or 2 ahead of Dalton, and you're not right up in the.
No, you're not in your Jameis Winston skill.
Good old Jameis. He's going to come good one day, and I will.
Well, with Bruce Arians as his head coach, then if ever there was an opportunity for him to do it,
wouldn't it be hilarious if it was Fitzpatrick next year again?
Oh, jeez, bit of Fitz magic. Talking about that, he's on the UK tour. Have you noticed that?
Is he?
Do the NFL Live tour.
Oh, I see.
He's quite funny,
south.
actually.
Neil Reynolds tweeted yesterday that the tour is coming to Scotland.
We should make an effort.
So
we'll be there. It's coming in April. I don't know venue or anything.
I'm going to tweet him.
It was Edinburgh last year, wasn't it?
Nah, it was in Glasgow.
Was it? It was Edinburgh.
Oh,
no, the reason it was in Glasgow is a pal of mine who lives in Glasgow went, and he doesn't drive.
Did they not do 2?
I thought they only done 1. But anyway,
there has been an Edinburgh one recently as well. And,
it
might be
it was 2 years ago now, though.
Could have been.
Anyway,
like that hilarious time when Fitzpatrick were all Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to tweet that. Say, please come with your hairy chest and the gold chain, and just thinking you're the man with the shades.
Awesome.
That would be amazing. That was hilarious.
So yeah, back to my question then. If all the jobs that are available,
Cleveland.
Yeah, I think that's probably nailed on. Okay, so out with Cleveland then, because that's nailed on actually. So you've got Dolphins, Bengals, Jets, Broncos. Yeah, I'd agree as well actually.
Then you're the Dolphins.
Bengals.
I'd rather take the Dolphins.
AJ Green.
AJ Green and even Tyler Boyd.
Interesting. AJ Green, right, is about 32 or something. I forget how old he is. Yeah, right. I know. You're like we think he's like
I'm
really young.
Nah.
No, go and find it anyway. Whatever his age is, he's older than you think he is. So actually, unless he does a Fitzmagic type, I'm going to go till I'm 36-7. He's in his last contract. He's only going to go another 3-4 years tops.
2011.
But which is long enough for a coaching stint.
He's 30.
No, okay, right. Maybe
That's
2 years
fine.
ago.
You're at least 2 seasons before.
So they've got AJ Green and they've got Tyler Boyd who stepped up this year. They've got Joe Mixon at running back.
Right enough.
But they've got Andy Dalton.
They drafted a couple of young guys that were good, like Hernandez and I want to say Price, maybe? Can't remember off the top of my head.
Don't know. Yeah. The Cordy Glenn.
Do you think with a new head coach?
Do you
think with a new head coach they'd maybe move on at quarterback?
I think they'll draft someone. I don't think they would immediately move on.
I'm sure Andy Dalton's contract at the moment represents huge value, though, doesn't it? He's on peanuts.
He's on good money.
Yeah.
He's on good money for 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But the market's moved so much in that 4 years.
He's still got a couple of years.
Yeah. So you get him.
He's serviceable. He gets a hard time, but
he does. Yeah.
He can get you to the playoffs. He just can't get you through it.
Change your entire scheme in your head.
So actually, do you risk not making the playoffs at all?
Well, not making the playoffs is where they are right now.
So I think this year though he was injured. You got to remember that, and
as was AJ Green for
so that and John Ross.
That's because he's so old. Because he's like 30.
And also you've got Vontaze Burfict, who
that dude's never playing a full season ever again. He just gets suspended all the time. I think he must be the most fined NFL player ever. Surely he's overtaken.
Surely the amount of people he's injured, it must be close to manslaughter now.
Imagine that. He leaves his NFL career and the first thing that happens is he gets summoned to court and charged.
They've tallied up all the injuries he's caused and it's now manslaughter.
Oh dear, what guy. He's mental.
So the worst job then we're saying is the Broncos?
What was it? Broncos and Bengals?
And Dolphins.
Yeah, they're all kind of in the mix at the bottom. They're a couple of years away, all of them. They all need a bit of a
I don't feel comfortable about any of those.
And you could already
It's a
put
toss of
those
a coin.
teams and being likely to be hanging around top pick next
You know what?
year.
In fact, I'm saying the Broncos is the worst because you have to deal with John Elway.
Yeah.
No, that's a good idea actually. Yeah. He's an interfering GM.
Is he a great quarterback who can't pick a quarterback? So
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. That's nailed on.
that's his issue. Is he can't pick a quarterback, and
Until he gets that.
He's so determined to pick a quarterback as well. It's like,
just
take
give
some
up.
advice
Just
from
give
someone
up.
else.
yeah, let someone else
Take
do
some
it.
advice, yeah. You got away with the Manning one, but you only got away with it. That wasn't exactly a swoop. That was just because he was injured. And the Colts were going to get rid of him, then you could swan in with your check and go, we'll take
Yeah,
it.
it's a bit different when you can take someone that's already proven themselves to be a great.
Yeah, but actually, other than that, he isn't. You're right, he hasn't done anything.
Brock Osweiler, Paxton Lynch, Case Keenum, and Trevor Siemian.
What a roll call!
That's fun. I don't even think Paxton Lynch is in the league anymore. 2 years ago, he was like a first round pick. 3 years ago, maybe.
See the boy that went to the Texans, who then traded for the second
that was-
pick?
No, that was
Osweiler.
Osweiler.
That was Osweiler.
Osweiler's still in the
Right.
league, but I'm sure
Yeah, 'cause
Paxton
he-
Lynch isn't.
Arguably, and I know it sounds awful to say this, he did okay filling
Osweiler
in for
was alright.
Tannehill. He
He
wasn't
did.
the problem.
No,
he was
he wasn't.
not the problem.
Yeah.
Paxton Lynch is a free agent.
First round pick, what, 3
28
years ago?
or something like that. Pick.
2016 first round pick.
2 years.
Jesus
He's a
God.
free
Round
agent.
one, pick 26. So low first round.
Do it.
Late first round.
2 seasons. See you later.
That's awful. That is awful.
First rounder. See ya.
First, you must have shown absolutely nothing on the training
And the
pitch.
fact that nobody's even taken a sniff.
Yeah,
He's not even been on a practice squad.
just
Since.
like we pick you.
Nate Peterman has managed to get himself on a practice squad.
Oh
Is he
God,
now?
no! Don't even start.
He's in the
Oh.
Raiders practice
Yeah,
squad.
that's it.
Yeah.
Aye.
That's hilarious. I can't wait for John Gruden to turn Nathan Peterman into an MVP.
Oh, imagine he does though. Oh my God, no, I can't cope with that. My brain would implode. I'd be
Imagine
like,
starting
holy
next year, he's
shit.
like, yeah, it's a shootout between Derek Carr and Nathan Peterman for starting QB. You'd be like, okay, he's
What are you,
fucked.
yeah, what are you doing?
Does he have
What has
Alzheimer's?
happened to Derek Carr over the off
Or
season?
how much alcohol has John Gruden been drinking?
Or is it they're getting tapped up? They're going to move to London for a whole season,
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's-
So then they're like, Derek Carr's like, "Listen, I'm not moving to London. Trade me." he goes and gets himself moved.
Well, John Gruden doesn't like flying, so he's taking the boat.
Oh, dear.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So it'll be really interesting. There's still loads more to happen there. The coaching space.
Yeah, they're actually getting filled a lot quicker, I think, than normal as well, because I was chatting to Andrew about this yesterday morning. I had a look yesterday just to see, so Sean McVay was about the 12th, Sean McDermott in Buffalo was about 11th when they both got hired, and I was thinking, alright, so it tends to be about, that 11th, 12th-ish window that the first of them dominoes start falling, and then depending on what else, because there'll be a lot of teams that will wait for coordinators to be free from other teams and can't sign them, so you're going to get one or two by the end of January.
What about just really quickly on coaches? Was there any team that we think should have dismissed a coach that didn't? That you springs to your head?
Is this just your opportunity to say fuck Jay Gruden?
Probably.
Well, you start there then, if that's what you think.
Probably Jay Gruden.
No, the one that could have gone that got a reprieve, I'm okay with it, but
Sorry. Reuben Foster's charges have been dropped.
Oh.
That is a first round pick for the Redskins next year. Boom.
Breaking news.
Juicy.
That's awesome. That's another Alabama
Now,
piece.
is he going to be tainted from what's
Absolutely.
happened,
But
or
who cares?
but because he's not charged, so he's not going to be like Kareem Hunt. He's going to get a shot because he's now officially all right. He'll get a couple of game ban from Goodell because Goodell just likes banning people.
Yeah,
Well, he
he'll
was
get-
on the
As soon as you drag them in.
The exempt list, but we had
exempt
claimed
list.
his rights from
Yeah.
waivers.
Yeah,
So
you did, because there was a big hoo-ha about that at the time, and everyone was a bit like, "Oh, don't know
So,
if you should touch that."
I wonder if
with
it's quite interesting. It's the first time something breaking's happened whilst we've been podding.
No, second time we got Matty Ryan's contract getting announced at the same time because it was like 30 million a year average. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Crazy numbers. But yeah, anyway, where were we at before that? Doug Marone, that's what I was going to say. I think I could understand why the Jags would have moved on from Doug Marone if they wanted to, but I'm not that against them keeping him.
They're going to give him a chance to go again with a new quarterback, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because Bortles is see ya.
Done. I think Bortles himself knows he's not coming back.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see where they go Flacco's conversation in the locker room was really interesting after last weekend's games.
Yeah.
It
was a goodbye.
Whatnot. He was, I've had a great 11 years in Baltimore, and the language was all like he knows he's gone.
And the reason he was saying goodbye, because let's talk about playoff games. They lost.
I don't know what that signal meant.
It was meant to be 40 minutes we're at. I'll just say it.
We're really bad at timings, guys.
I'm trying to keep on top of it. Yeah. No more hour and a half opuses.
So
the Ravens, they played the Chargers on Sunday and they lost. So 23-17.
The first half
suggests that it was a lot closer game than it was.
The first half, the Chargers got so far ahead. The second half, the Ravens started to come back into it.
The fourth quarter they came back in. Even the third quarter was still Chargers, wasn't it?
It's only the last 6 minutes of the game that I thought they even had a hope.
There was a couple of things that stood out. Lamar Jackson needs to be let to run loose. If you've got someone that runs for 3,000 yards in college as a quarterback, they just need to let him run loose. They just need to go, because he stayed he was so much in the pocket. It was just baffling. I just didn't get it. And some of the best plays he made were the ones where he was scrambling, like the one that he threw where it was nearly a pick, but it just went over the cornerback, and I think it was Crabtree that caught it, but which started that drive which they went on to score from. But I just don't get why they would keep someone whose skill set is not that, and I don't know whether that was the way that the Chargers played defensively.
I think it was very much that. Whether it was Anthony Lynn or whether it was the Chargers defensive coordinator had absolutely knew what they were going to do against Baltimore, and they held it and they kept it hidden, because obviously a couple of weeks ago I think Baltimore beat them, didn't they? Aye, because that's only part of the reason why Baltimore ended up getting in.
Yeah, that's
right. But where was it going with this anyway? So the Chargers came out and absolutely had their number. Baltimore's offense could do nothing. The defense was taking the piss, absolutely taking the piss. The commentary team were saying weird things like, I can't remember what part of the game it was, but they were lining up like 3 safeties in the linebacker position to play against their offense and things like that. Because they were faster and more agile, it took all the run-pass option problems out of the way. They were putting Melvin Ingram into the middle and running like a nose tackle, which the guards couldn't deal with for Baltimore, because they're very much a running offensive line, mauling. They're not very good at pass protection. And because then they had to try and play pass protection because they were so far behind, when they put Melvin Ingram in the middle, he was blowing them up.
Yeah.
I think it was just pure scheme. Absolutely destroyed them so early in the game that they just didn't have a hope to come back from.
I was really frustrated by the Ravens. They just seemed so slow.
They
were slow.
The Ravens shat it.
And actually, we'll come on to. I felt the same about the Texans in their game. They were just slow getting up to the line to play.
So, we finished on the Chargers first. So they deserve a lot of credit, because defense, like you said, they did nail it. Derwin James was incredible.
Yep.
Offensively, they weren't that good. It was more that the Ravens just.
It was all field goals in the first quarter.
The Ravens just kept. The Ravens' offense wasn't on the field long enough.
Yeah.
They just kept going 4 and out, and
Melvin Gordon injured himself quite early in the game, and you thought he was going to be out until he sorted himself out. He was back in by third quarter, I think.
Yeah.
So the run game was a bit so-so because Eckler didn't quite seem. I don't know what it is.
Eckler is good as part of a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, but on his own as a feature guy, he just seems to disappear for whatever reason. So that kind of would have stymied your offense a little bit. There was only one pass I remember Rivers making that I was like, God, that's a brilliant
0 touchdowns, 160 yards.
Yeah, it's actually, I think Baltimore's defense did enough to win that game.
There was one guy that
it was just the Baltimore's offense.
Baltimore's defense is
so good,
outstanding.
Number 48.
That's who. Patrick Onwusaro. I don't know how you say his name, but he was.
We couldn't have butchered that anymore. More if we tried.
We'll just call him Pat.
Hi, boy.
He was awesome. CJ Mosley was awesome. They have such a good defense. They just need to sort that offense out.
And they have to be all in on Jackson and his style.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and they're going to have to, but they're also going to have to change it a little bit because anybody who plays like the Chargers did, they're going to win 2 games next season.
Something that I heard in a podcast that I thought was really, really interesting about Jackson, just to elaborate on your point, was you're a veteran wide receiver. Jackson can't throw it deep. Why would you go there? Why would they go there not to get the ball? They're all these big wide receivers are so much about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to want to go and not get thrown the ball because that's not what they want.
So you need to line up a speedy young person on the outside, take that.
It's all going to
be
keep
through the
the
draft.
defense honest, because the young guy, bless him, just won't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
You then take your vets and you move them over the slot, do crossing routes.
Yeah. So what they said is that expect them to try and pick up the next sort of Trey Burton-esque tight end or to pick up a veteran slot receiver rather than look at.
Yeah. Well, their wide receiver pickups I'd say would work for them this year. Snead, Brown, and
I think Snead was
Crabtree.
but
Yeah, I don't know, but he was okay in the early start. As a three punch, it made their wide receiver course so much better than it was.
Oh, absolutely.
It really did help them out in the beginning part of the season before things kind of unravelled in a little bit in the middle, and then they changed their entire game plan in the second half of the season when they came good. But to begin with, they were all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, they need to make more.
Chargers won that one. They go to Foxborough to face the Patriots in the divisional round.
Do you know what I actually?
Come on, the Chargers.
I know it.
Yeah, what do we think is going to happen though?
Yeah. Right, the only saving grace is the Chargers play better on the road than they do at home.
Absolutely.
They don't seem like playing in LA, which is fine. So they're happy being on the road, which is okay.
I think the Ravens would have actually been a better matchup for the Patriots.
Yeah, they would have gone in with their defense and just stymied Brady,
and that's where
totally shut them down.
Yeah,
and that's where. So you just need to hope if the Chargers recapture anything of what they did this weekend coming up, then they might get away with it. The
only thing is you have to change it because Brady's not going to be running about. So you're playing all these speedy cornerbacks as linebackers isn't going to work. Brady will pick them apart. Yeah. So it's going to be.
I think it's still worth flying Ingram through the middle because if it worked last week, why not give it a shot?
Yeah, so that sucks that the Patriots are going to win that.
Other wildcard game.
Another angry text from Kev.
Other wildcard game in the AFC, the Indianapolis Colts beat the Texans 21-7.
Mm-hmm.
This went pretty much exactly as I expected it to go.
Oh, it was over. I went to bed after the first quarter. I was like, that's done. I just no point in me watching this anymore.
So
the Colts were so good and the Texans were awful.
The Colts played it absolutely perfectly.
Yeah.
Like on both sides of the field.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck never got touched.
The first quarter was an absolute clinic. If you want to see one team demolish another team, just watch the first quarter of that game.
I don't know if you remember or not, but see the grief that Clowney got from the commentators. Not how bad he was playing, but how he just could not get through the Colts' offensive line. They were giving him it so tight.
So it was 14-0 at the first quarter, 21-0 at the half.
They scored very early in that second quarter as well. I mean, they were literally the first 5 or 6 plays
They
max.
done everything perfect. Mm-hmm. There was not a single flaw in their game plan. And actually, I think Bill O'Brien's lucky to still have a job there. I think he should be doing better. I do.
You think?
I think that's harsh.
Yeah.
He's got the best defensive
Right. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. He's got a solid defense. Yeah.
So he's got the best defensive end. One of the top 10 in Clowney. Yeah. He's defensive end, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then you've got Clowney, who's top 10
on his day. I think he needs a bit of motivation. I think he needs a bit of motivation. I don't know what it is. It's like a fire under him sometimes.
You've got, in my
Whitney
opinion,
Merciless.
your defense is
Brian
solid.
McKinney.
Yeah, it's rock solid. You've got Zach Cunningham, who they drafted, that's doing really well.
Yep.
They've got Matthew, who they're not getting in and out of, but that was always going to happen.
Rumours are they're going to tie him up as well. They're going to keep him.
I don't think he's been that good, but
I feel despite the Cardinals season, they made the right decision there.
Particularly
now they've picked up DJ Swearinger.
Yeah,
that
makes me sad.
I suppose that was the big player move that happened while we were off.
The next point I was going to get to is they've got the best wide receiver in the league, Hopkins. You can argue.
Yeah,
you can argue that.
Yeah, I think
he is the safest pair of hands
after AB's not after the fallout in Pittsburgh, let's just call it the fallout in Pittsburgh. We'll not get into that right now because we don't have time, but that is a topic in itself we might have to touch on next week because it is just hilarious. But now AB was de facto and has been for about the last 4 years. You could put him in that number one slot quite easily. Then there was a bit of a fight between Hopkins, Jones, AJ Green, Odell Beckham. There's arguments for them. Yeah. They were definitely 2 to 5 in whatever order you wanted to, but there was like a half a step to Brown. Yeah. Hopkins, easily overtaking him now. Yeah. It's just ridiculous. 115 catches, no drops. Just some of those catches he was making, like reverse passes, jump, whatever, triple cover. It didn't matter. He was getting it. It was amazing.
Contested catches, nobody better.
Yeah, amazing season.
So Colts strolled it really. They go to Arrowhead. I fancy them. You know that.
I do as well.
That's going to be. That's
two reasons.
Far more favourite than Chargers.
2 reasons. Well, 3 reasons. Their defense is solid. Chiefs' defense is awful. So the Colts will score, and it's the Chiefs at Arrowhead in the playoffs. So they're going to lose.
I think the first point that you said about the defense is the reason, I think, because I can see Luck tearing the Colts. You can see them tearing the Chiefs.
Usually Mahomes is able to just tear straight back. I think the defense is going to be up to...
and Chris Jones in the middle. They've got an alright front. Yeah. Whether they can get through the Colts O-line though, I don't know.
If they can keep Watt, Clowney and all those guys quiet, then...
Yeah, you think they can keep them quiet?
Yeah, I fancy the Colts.
Yeah.
Like it.
We need to be quicker, don't we?
Yes, so NFC. So the games...
Remember when we were saying that Jason Garrett was done and Dak Prescott wasn't a franchise quarterback?
Yeah.
What do we know?
The Cowboys are in the divisional round now. This is the only game I didn't see, so I'm going to stay quiet on this one.
I didn't watch
Remember the other thing I'm going to go back to as well. Remember we were pissing ourselves laughing at a first rounder for Amari Cooper.
Oh, yeah, is that not that looks like absolute value in a half
already.
Yeah, just on a half a season production.
He looks like he was the exact thing that they were
needed.
missing.
Yeah. Sometimes that should happen. Right person, right scheme, right team. It just all gels perfectly, and it just seems to have worked fine for him.
So Cooper got 106 yards off his 7 targets, and so that you can't. Like you said quite a lot, Steve, about keeping the defense honest, and that's what Cooper does. You can't.
Yeah, and it helps open up the game for Zeke, and Zeke he's that mauling type of running back that can quite easily just wear a defense down through 3 quarters and then blast out a big run.
137 yards he got on a touchdown.
Yeah, it's just everything's clicking for them. Right, their defense is sneaky good as well. So
you want to know what the big thing that I think that helps the Cowboys as well is they actually have a lot of continuity in that, like, full organisation, which
the Joneses,
the Joneses, and also the fact that they stuck with Garrett when they've had so many times they could have got rid of him.
So there's a lot of people think that Jerry Jones is the problem in Dallas because he interferes too much and it's his team. But when you've chucked in $1.1 billion for a stadium and $1.3 billion in for the Star Training Complex, I'm right you're going to be making some decisions. That's a lot of money to be thrown away on your team. It seems to. It's all clicking. It's all going well. You can't really bet against them, to be honest, at the moment.
Well, do you give them much of a chance?
Where are they going?
LA.
You know what? Actually, the best.
If you'd asked me this before December started, I'd be like, nah.
Because you'd have gone, why are you talking about Dallas at this stage of the playoffs?
No, sorry. I was meaning more like on the way the Rams have played. The Rams, to me, have had a very black and white season. So up until November, absolute cakewalk in it. Really bad, streaky December where things... the wheels were coming off the offense, the defense, a Wade Phillips defense was leaking 30 points in a game, and you're like, continually, what the is going on here?
Yeah,
unreal. So now I'm really not sure. I don't think they managed to get enough in those last 2 wins to right the ship back round to where you thought they were in the beginning of the season, where they can roll in 40-50 points every week and not give a shit.
You want to know what I think? The Cowboys have to go ahead early at this game.
Yes.
If they go ahead early...
They put the game on golf. Is that what you're thinking?
That's what I'm thinking. If they go ahead, control the clock, grind out the game, that's the worst thing that could happen for the Rams. So actually, I think if it comes a shootout, the Rams,
will eventually get there.
Yeah, but if the Cowboys can get ahead, changes the game.
Yeah.
Because I can also see the fans getting on their back. But
yeah. So what was the other thing I seen as well? So that result, you know how there's a second-hand ticket market?
uh-huh.
It was a really interesting stat. I wish you'd remember the numbers, but so beforehand you'd thought that Dallas was going to New Orleans and whatever team was going the other way. So the ticket prices for New Orleans were really high and for Rams were low. As soon as Dallas won that game, that swung 180 degrees. Everyone wanted to buy tickets to go and see Dallas, and the Rams are a really well supported team. And they, it's like we're talking like differences of $120 a ticket. They went from about 120 to 240, but the same swing the opposite way. So a ticket to go and see New Orleans at home now is about $120 cheaper than it would have been. It's mental.
Yeah.
So, it's on America's team, eh?
Yeah. Just quick one, the Seahawks overachieved.
Yes,
but
we didn't give them a chance, did we, at the start of the season? So to make the playoffs,
we all had them at fourth in the division.
Yeah, and well,
yes.
What do we know?
So they did very well. Carroll's managed to work magic out of what we thought was a very depleted roster. They're definitely going to be in the mix for the next few seasons again. It's almost like a second resurgence of Legion of Boom, almost. Kind of giving them that window. They seem to have been able to continue that, which is a rare thing indeed.
Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting division next year.
Yeah,
What
but
was that
right.
last game then?
Last game, wow. Right,
Okay.
so
There's so much to talk about in this game as well.
So the Eagles won by 16 points
16-15.
to 15. Right, I'm not going to start by talking about the game.
Right.
What are you going to talk
The
about?
Bears have only got themselves to blame here because they beat the Vikings in week 17. If they'd have just, rested their starters. Yes, I know at the start of the game there was still a chance that they would get to the bye. The Rams just trampled on whoever they were playing, so they were so clearly getting the bye. They should have just rested all the starters, let the Vikings beat them, play them again the week after and destroy them. Because
I know what you mean. I know where you're going.
There's no way that the Vikings would have beat them 2 weeks in a row.
So because they won, the Eagles got in.
Yes, because the Vikings needed. Yes, the Eagles had to win and hope the
that's
Vikings
what worked.
lost.
Yes, and that's
the Vikings lost.
I know where you're going now with this.
It's an interesting
What
argument.
a story! I love little weird things like that happen.
It's an interesting argument.
You basically beat yourself.
They did, and then great game.
You know what? For such a low-scoring game, it was awesome. It really was. I don't even know where to start. To think about it.
I think you have to start at the end.
Go for it.
We work our way back.
Straight in there.
Right.
The double doink.
So the double doink. So yeah, the field goal that
Have you seen that?
was missed, but actually wasn't missed. It was tipped.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Margins, the fine margins in the NFL are incredible.
See the amount of hate that Cody Parkey's getting over this is, I
It's
think,
a bit
all
much.
unwarranted. Because somebody argued back, well, Cody Parkey got 9 points, the whole offense only got 6, so there's the fucking problem. It's nothing to do with Parkey himself.
Yeah.
He missed the important one. So there's that argument, but there's
You know
like
what?
people, the fan outrage. Have you seen any of the videos on like NFL memes and stuff like smashing in doors and like chucking their TVs
You know
out
what?
and all burning the jerseys, all that nonsense.
Really, really fair play to Doug Peterson. He iced him an absolute belter because he nailed it first time.
Ice in the kick.
He nailed it first
I
time.
love icing the kicker. I love it.
Going on the bench.
It was
We've
straight-
argued about this many times.
Straight down the middle, nailed it, and then he's all got that pressure again, and he doesn't make it. And I know it was touched on the rest of it.
Do you know my favourite reaction to this is a brewery in Chicago who have said
yes.
they have said,
I
well,
love
if you armchair supporters are so adamant that it's so easy to make a 46-yard field goal, we've
Come
set
down
one
and do
outside. We've set one up outside the brewery. Come give it a go.
Great
And
marketing.
if you make it, you'll get a year's
Yeah,
beer.
free. Yeah. Great.
Which is
Love it.
outstanding. I mean, even if it's just like, it's 365 bottles, for them that's nothing to give away for whoever's
it's
going to
great.
get it. So 10 people might make this kick, but hundreds are going to turn up and try.
And
Fantastic.
have a beer while they're there.
Bingo. So
Fantastic
they're going to make
Love it.
back everything that they give away. They're going to make back just on the Saturday itself, and it's the whole sticking it into the fan base as well,
Yep.
which is actually quite good. I quite like it. It's coming out in support of Parky and say, look, this is not an easy job.
The only thing I would say
it's
though,
not all his fault.
the only thing about Parker was there was a stat that came up. He was actually the second worst kicker in the full league.
Was that the same thing? So we're talking about Robbie. Is it Robbie Gould that went to the 49ers and he's since made 85 of 88 field goals?
Yeah.
They're talking about that's the guy you cut.
And yeah,
Is that harsh?
Parky's overall record for missed kicks, missed PATs was he was the second worst kicker in the full league, and
In the regular season?
and throughout the full season, yeah. So
Okay. Yeah,
So I guess that-
yeah.
I'm interested. Do you know
let's
who was the
go-
worst?
don't know who the worst
No,
was.
okay. Good
Let-
stat, Gav.
Let's just flip this round though again. So we just came out and said carte blanche, Seattle overachieved by a mile. Did the Bears though? I think yes.
Yeah.
Even with the Mac trade was something else, right? Just discount that out of the equation because that did just massively turn the table. Beforehand, we gave the Bears not much hope either.
Yeah.
And the way they played the season, the way Nagy ran that team, the way the defense just ratcheted up another level, which was unreal. You know what I mean? They really impressed me, and I think they did well again in the playoffs. And it's a shame they're out, but you know, it's the way it goes.
I think if they can keep Vic Fangio, they'll go even further next year.
Yeah.
But if they lose Vic Fangio, then that's a big blow because he's a really good coordinator.
Mhm.
I thought, you know what, Trubisky didn't have a great game in terms of like stat line, but he actually made a lot of really good throws on third downs. I thought his
He's
third and
not
longs.
the problem. He's not quite had that second year leap that like Wentz or Goff had, but he's not rubbish.
I think Jordan
I think
Howard's
they're
a
happy
problem
enough.
for
You
them a
think
running
they
back.
need a running back.
I think
Lead Bell.
Imagine.
Oh, we don't talk about him.
But
What's 2019 now?
What's
Sorry,
their
I'm
cap
talking about him.
space like?
I don't think they're too bad because Trubisky's
Rookie deal, yeah.
We'll talk about the cap space all they want. Any team that wants Lead Bell will make it work.
Yeah, they will, yeah, of
Easy
course they
right?
will.
So, but
Of
it's
course they
funny.
will.
I do like the whole cap space argument. The Jags could make Lead Bell walk in that building and make it work, and they're over the cap by about 11 million a year.
yeah, they always find a ways, don't they?
Yeah,
They do.
Back end
Clever
every deal.
accounting.
Yeah, restructure everything.
Re-up a quarterback, pay them a lump sum, and it makes their average per year far less, like what Big Ben's done in Pittsburgh, and that just gives you money to throw around elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's mental.
So I guess going on to the
Just-
Eagles.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, boom.
Wentz or Foles?
Oh, you're going to go in this side?
Straight in a minute.
Oh,
Wentz or
Jesus.
Foles?
Wentz.
Why?
What now or
Just what?
right now? Nick Foles, long-term Wentz, which is where the Eagles are at, isn't
Fun.
it?
Fun. So Carson Wentz is now 26, and next year you have to pay him. So you've got one more year on his rookie deal, and then you have to pay him.
Okay. And then that'll be the 25 to 30 million minimum range.
If not more.
Does that deplete your team? Because we were talking about this. So of the 12 teams,
And they're not
that of the 12 teams that hit the playoffs, 7
Some of the season
quarterbacks.
started with a quarterback on a rookie deal.
Yeah. So therefore, you have money to
Invest
flesh out
elsewhere.
your squad. Yeah. Which so more than 50%, and because of the way the rookie scale works, you know, odds are you're always going to have a couple of teams with a rookie quarterback that get in there, but that's actually, I think, proportionally quite high.
So do you think? So Nick Foles, and again we said it earlier, he seems to be incredible when the world is on his shoulders,
You
Yeah.
say this all the time, yeah.
but awful when there's no expectation.
He has a $2 million
still
buyout clause in his contract this
Oh, he's
offseason.
going somewhere.
So,
Easy peasy.
He'd
He would pay that himself.
Exactly.
Because
He's going to
gonna
pay
get
that
it.
himself.
Because it's such a bad off season for rookies coming out of college.
Oh, he's going to get paid a fortune.
Foles, Flacco, anyone else who decides to go out and test the market, even Fitzmagic if he doesn't come back as backup in Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
they're all going to get something.
So the Eagles are minus 12 million in cap space. The only team that's worse is the Jags. So
They would have to do some money moving
Yeah.
to make it work. What
um,
am I talking about? No, I'm mixing things.
Yeah.
Don't cross your dreams, man. What am I talking about?
so yeah,
So yeah, right now, Foles, but long-term Wentz, certainly next season, and then they make a decision.
Wentz who can't play a full season.
Yeah, he's been
Don't-
unlucky.
It's the same injury 2 years in a row. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Is
there was
this year's injury real?
There was a
I
report.
love that.
There was a report that his back injury. Okay, yeah, he maybe had it, but he was absolutely fine to go at the weekend, and they still decided to go with Foles anyway because he's Mr. December and playoff king.
Yeah.
Which is
I'm
still
not
contending.
sure the injury was ever
So-
that bad.
Let me put this to you, right? So you're in cap deficit, so you've got a lot of clever accounting to do. Someone offers you 2 first rounds for Carson Wentz. Do you take it?
With this current quarterback class in the draft,
Oh,
no chance.
Jesus, don't know.
So your first,
not right now. Maybe next year if there's a stronger quarterback class. But
so why would you need a quarterback though if you can get Foles for 2 or 3 more years?
you're gonna have to pay him though, and you've still got the same cap space problem because you've got to pay him.
I just don't believe he's the answer as a starting quarterback. Someone's got to get him, but I just don't think he.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I don't think he could take a team all the way through training camp, pre-season, regular season, and playoffs.
But he's won the Super Bowl and he's
the reigning Super Bowl MVP.
Eli Manning's won the Super Bowl.
He's unbeaten in playoff games.
So is I can't think.
It's just I just
so
think
Pat Mahomes.
It's
0-0.
Yeah, it works.
I just think it's a really interesting.
Who's Johnny Manziel?
Exactly.
It's just
I was taking it a far side. No, let's tie things up.
I just think it's an interesting argument. Maybe we could come back to it.
But we'll go away and have a thought about it, and then we'll start off next week with Foles versus Wentz round 2. Let's go. We'll actually have another week to dissect it as well because they'll have played at the weekend. We'll know whether he's won yet.
If Foles is put out, we're like, yeah, fuck that guy.
So, final note then. They go to New Orleans. Do you back against?
Nah, they're going to get ruined. I don't know
what's ruined.
It's not going to be the 48-6 of or whatever the score was when they got absolutely trounced in week 11, I think it was. But I still don't see Breeze, Payton, et al. Getting beat in the dome when they've had it next, because they rested all their starters in week 17.
So they've had 2 weeks, so they could be a bit rusty.
You can argue that. Yeah,
I can't remember the exact stat, but Nick Foles is better indoors than he is outdoors.
No.
He's got a better record indoor than he is.
When did he get his 25 in a row? Where was he playing? It was against Washington, his final game of the season, so that would have been outdoors.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where, but yeah.
Can't remember, but I didn't think there was any way the Eagles could have beat the Bears. I just found it hard to write them off.
And they did.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, yeah.
This is what happened last year. It was the whole underdog mentality the whole way
and they're
through.
Doing it again.
Doing it again. Everything's clicking the right way. It's scary. It's like, if they repeat doing what they did, sneaking in the back door, from the 6th place all the way
even
through.
So they're a divisional rival of the Redskins. I like the Eagles. I think they're good. And I don't know why, I can just see them.
Do you like the Cowboys?
No.
Exactly.
But I can see.
Just further enforces your point, though. You're right. Actually,
Giants.
You've got a better love for them. Even though they're a divisional team, actually, you're okay. You wouldn't begrudge them winning it.
No, it
just means he's not a true Redskin fan. That's what it means.
You don't support anyone.
I know. Ultimate fence sitter.
He's got a Giants jumper on today.
With the standard NFL t-shirt underneath. Just
what
a shield.
team?
It's a shield.
Oh, just a shield.
Yeah,
okay.
Representing all 32 today,
yeah.
bitches.
Just the Giants an extra little bit.
It's cold. Need a jumper.
I'm going to be stupid and say the Eagles are going to beat them.
Oh, right, go on then. What do you think, Andrew?
Saints. Nah, can't see against the Saints.
There we go.
What? I should.
Gav's getting angry now. He's like,
no, I was just thinking
2 versus 1.
What were the games that the Saints lost? Do we remember? I know they lost
that 3-game streak where they had a bit of really ropey. It was 3 away games. Everyone thought that the season was unravelling, but they're actually all away games and still.
I'm just going to quickly see if I can bring it up.
Was it the Bucks right at the start? It was the Bucks right at the start.
Bucks, Carolina would have been one of the Carolina games. One of those 3.
Quickly bring it up.
They played them both. They played them quite quickly in succession.
Right, so they lost.
No, they beat Bucks second time round, but they
got beat
lost
48-40 off the Bucks at the start.
Yeah, then they went on their ludicrous run.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And then
lost to the Cowboys 13-10.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
And lost to the Panthers when they rested everyone.
Yeah.
That's not that bad in the end.
Saints. So that is another episode of the American Fitbaw Cast.
How much are we over?
We're an hour and 7 minutes, so I gave you a 40-minute warning, and that was 27 minutes ago now, believe it or not.
I can still keep speaking.
Steve, anything to say?
No. Should I be? No. I'm all good.
Gav, say bye.
Bye.
Just be very specific on that one.
I was actually apologise for Steve's behaviour throughout this podcast.
Find us at the AF Cast on Twitter, the American Fitbaw Cast on Facebook. Please come speak to us. Let us know what you think. Your predictions for this weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
You've been listening to another great podcast from the Fair City Podcast Network, a group dedicated to connecting and developing podcasts. Check out fcpod.net for more great podcasts and content.